Ludlam first. He has a matter. Senator Ludlam, you're seeking the call.
Thank you, Deputy President. Apologies to Senator Wong. Deputy President, pursuant to Standing Order 74.5, I ask the Minister representing the Minister for Communications, that's Senator Fifield, who is aware that I was about to get to my feet, for an explanation as to why answers have not yet been provided to question on notice number 7. The questions regard funding for the ABC, and particularly for capacity around the country, the kinds of contracting that the ABC is up to. These were lodged on the 12th of November. Senator Fifield, recognising you are the representing minister here, I hope Minister Turnbull has given you something useful to tell the chamber. I recognise Minister Turnbull has a lot on his plate, taking on demented plutocrats past and present. But an answer to this question is now—
Senator Ludlam,
yes, Deputy President.
The requirement at the moment is you ask the minister for an explanation. You haven't given the minister a chance.
It's a very detailed request for an explanation.
Well, I think you've asked your question, and I intend to call the minister unless you have something additional to add.
As long as I'm able to make some remarks
you will have an opportunity after the minister has given a response. Minister.
Thank you, Mr Deputy President. I am advised that this detailed and multifaceted question by Senator Ludlam required detailed analysis by the ABC. The provision of the response has been, I'm advised, delayed as a result of the internal processes in the ABC due to the need to audit security and payroll data. And I will, on behalf of the Minister, table the response at the earliest opportunity.
Now, Senator Ludlam, you can move to take note of the minister's explanation if you wish.
So moved, Deputy President.
Thank you, Senator Ludlam.
And I won't detain the chamber for long. I thank the minister for providing that information on behalf of Minister Turnbull. I do acknowledge this is a complex question. It has multiple parts, and it relates, among other things, to the closure of specific units within the ABC providing specialist programming, both radio and television broadcast, and also the increased casualisation and outsourcing that we're seeing within the ABC. These questions go to the sustainability of funding for our ABC, the national broadcaster, the degree to which funding shortages are driving ever-increasing outsourcing, the running down of production capacity in states other than New South Wales and, you could argue, Victoria, particularly in Western Australia, Tasmania and South Australia. ABC has a large and relatively new studio in East Perth in Western Australia, which operates practically empty for much of the week. The ABC is already juggling an immensely tight budget, largely as a consequence of more than a decade of neglect and funding cuts by the former Howard government. The ABC and SBS are now facing extraordinary challenges on two fronts, and I do acknowledge former Communications Minister Senator Stephen Conroy for beginning to address and turn about the finances both of the ABC and SBS, which was indeed on starvation funding. The ABC is having to wear direct threats on two sides. Firstly, to its editorial independence by repeated criticisms and attacks from the Prime Minister on down. The second threat to the ABC is a so-called efficiency review into public broadcasting, and this is where I think some timely answers to the questions that we have put through Senator Fifield to Minister Turnbull would help give some comfort. We know that the ABC appears at item 50 on the Institute of Public Affairs hit list. Item 50 says, effectively, break the ABC up and let the private sector get on with the job. I put this proposition to Mr Mark Scott in budget estimates this time last week. His comment was that would be catastrophic. SBS, a beloved national broadcaster, appears at item number 51 on the IPA's hit list, which is effectively sell it. Just get rid of SBS. It is surplus to requirements. It's unbelievable. So, Senator Fifield, I'm interested to know what confidence can the Australian public have that the Abbott government isn't simply pursuing a vendetta, a peculiar personal vendetta against public broadcasting, whether you justify it in terms of the so-called efficiency review or whether you think the ABC is simply being unpatriotic and reporting things that you would prefer that it didn't. The ABC is not the equivalent of a Chinese state-owned broadcaster. It is fiercely independent. It is beloved by the vast majority of Australians. It should be left alone. The best thing that Minister Turnbull could do with this portfolio would be to increase and lift the funding of our national broadcasters, both ABC and SBS. And a first step towards regaining the confidence of the Australian public would be to provide an answer to these questions, which are now some 2.5 months overdue. I thank the chamber.
Senator McDonald.